What happened in our shared bathroom last Tuesday night will haunt me forever, but not in the way you think. For 6 months, I lived with Sophia, convinced she was the straightest girl I'd ever met. She had a serious boyfriend, talked about their wedding plans constantly, seemed completely uninterested in women. But then she walked into our shower while I was in there, and what she did next changed both our lives forever. If you've ever had a roommate situation get unexpectedly complicated, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments about your most awkward living situation. My name is Alex, I'm 22, and I live in Los Angeles working as a graphic designer. 6 months ago, I desperately needed a roommate to help with rent on my one-bedroom apartment. After posting on every roommate app imaginable, I found Sophia Martinez, a 23-year-old marketing coordinator who seemed absolutely perfect on paper. Sophia was gorgeous in that effortless California way, long dark hair, olive skin, and these incredible brown eyes that seemed to sparkle when she laughed. She was organized, clean, financially responsible, and came with excellent references. Plus, she had a long-term boyfriend named Ryan who she'd been dating for 3 years. "We're actually thinking about getting engaged soon," she told me during our first meeting, showing me photos of them together on her phone. "Ryan's just waiting for the right moment." Perfect, I thought. No drama, no complications. Just a straight girl with a serious boyfriend who needed a place to crash while saving money for her future. But there were things about Sophia that I noticed right away that should have been red flags, or at least question marks. Like how she would always find excuses to be in whatever room I was in. If I was cooking in our tiny kitchen, she'd suddenly need to grab something from the fridge and end up staying to chat for an hour. If I was watching TV in the living room, she'd emerge from her corner behind the partition with her laptop, claiming she needed a change of scenery to work. "I hope I'm not bothering you," she'd say, settling onto the couch next to me, always just a little closer than necessary. "Not at all," I'd reply, trying to ignore how my heart would speed up whenever she was near. And then there was the bathroom situation. Our apartment had one bathroom that we shared, and initially, we were both very respectful about giving each other privacy. We established a system: if the door was closed, the other person would wait. But after about a month, Sophia started getting more casual about boundaries. She'd knock and ask if she could quickly grab something while I was brushing my teeth. Then she'd need to use the mirror while I was doing my skincare routine. Soon, we were comfortable sharing the bathroom space during morning and evening routines. "This is so much more efficient," she'd say, applying mascara in the mirror while I washed my face at the sink. "It's like having a sister." But the way she'd watch me in the mirror, her eyes lingering on my reflection, didn't feel very sisterly. The first real moment of tension happened about 2 months into living together. I was getting ready for a date with this girl I'd met on a dating app, and Sophia was helping me choose an outfit. "What about this dress?" I asked, holding up a black cocktail dress. "It's beautiful," she said, but her voice sounded strange. "She's lucky to be going out with someone like you." "Thanks. Ryan's lucky too, you guys are such a cute couple." Something flickered across her face. "Yeah. Lucky. Have you ever lived with someone who seemed almost too interested in your life?" After that night, I started paying more attention to how Sophia acted around me versus how she acted when Ryan was around. When he came over, she seemed different, more performative, like she was playing a role. But when it was just us, she was relaxed, genuine, and increasingly, physical. She started finding excuses to touch me. She'd brush imaginary lint off my clothes, play with my hair while we watched movies, rest her hand on my arm when she was talking. I told myself she was just naturally affectionate, but something about her touch felt different from how friends typically touched each other. The bathroom situation started escalating too. What began as sharing mirror space evolved into longer and longer periods of us being in there together. She'd take her time getting ready, asking my opinion on her outfits, her makeup, her hair. "Alex, does this lipstick look okay?" she'd ask, leaning close to me so I could see. "It looks great," I'd say, trying not to stare at her lips. "Are you sure? It doesn't look too bold?" Before I could answer, she'd grab a tissue and wipe it off, then immediately apply a different shade. This became a routine, her trying on different looks while I got ready, constantly asking for my approval. But it was the way she looked at me during these moments that made my pulse race. Her eyes would linger on my face, my lips, my body in a way that felt intense and searching. When I'd catch her staring, she'd quickly look away with a soft blush creeping up her neck. "Sorry," she'd mumble. "I was just thinking." "Thinking about what?" "Nothing important." After the bathtub incident, the dynamic between Sophia and me shifted dramatically. The casual touching became more frequent and more intimate. She'd massage my shoulders when I complained about work stress, play with my hair while we watched movies, and find excuses to be close to me in our small apartment. But she also started asking me more personal questions about my dating life and my sexuality. "Alex, when did you realize you were attracted to women?" she asked one evening while we were making dinner together. "I don't know, I think I always knew on some level." "Why?" "Just curious. I've never really understood how that works." What works?" "Like, how do you know if you're attracted to someone? What does that feel like?" I paused, knife halfway through chopping onions. "I guess, you can't stop thinking about them. You want to be around them constantly. Physical contact feels electric. You notice details about them that other people might not see." She was quiet for a moment, stirring the pasta sauce with more concentration than necessary. "Have you ever been confused about your feelings for someone?" she asked. "What do you mean?" "Like, thinking you felt one way but then realizing you felt completely different?" I turned to look at her. "Are you having feelings for someone new?" "What about Ryan?" Her face flushed. No, not someone new. More like, someone I've known for a while but am seeing differently." Before I could ask what she meant, her phone buzzed with a text from Ryan, and the moment was broken. But these conversations started happening more frequently. She'd ask hypothetical questions about attraction, about sexuality, about relationships. Always framing them as curiosity about my experiences, but I started to sense she was working through something personal. The bathroom sharing escalated further. She started showering right after me, claiming it was more efficient with our schedules. But she'd always emerge from the bathroom in just a towel, lingering in our shared space to chat while she was practically naked. "Sorry, I just need to grab my lotion," she'd say, reaching across me while wearing nothing but terry cloth, her skin still dewy from the shower. The proximity was driving me crazy. I could smell her shampoo, see the water droplets still clinging to her shoulders, feel the heat radiating from her freshly showered body. One evening, she asked if she could borrow my body wash. I ran out of mine, And I love how yours smells, she said. Of course. The next morning, I noticed she'd been using it regularly. My signature scent was now all over her, and every time she walked past me, I'd catch that familiar fragrance mixed with her natural smell. It was intoxicating and confusing. I might just switch to this brand permanently, she mentioned casually. It smells so much better on me than my old stuff. The way she sat on me while looking directly at me made my stomach flutter. 2 weeks before the shower incident, Ryan started spending less time at our apartment, claiming he was busy with work projects. Can you relate to this feeling of confusion and building tension? The week leading up to the shower encounter was the most intense week of our entire roommate relationship. Sophia seemed to be constantly on edge, starting conversations she wouldn't finish, reaching for me and then pulling back at the last second. Ryan had been increasingly absent, supposedly working late every night and spending weekends with his guy friends. Sophia claimed she didn't mind, but I could tell something was bothering her. Are things okay with you too? I asked one evening after she'd been particularly quiet. Yeah, everything's fine, she said, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. We're just going through a phase, I guess. What kind of phase? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're just going through the motions. Like we're together because it's comfortable and expected, not because we're passionate about each other. That was the most honest she'd been about her relationship, and it made my heart race for reasons I didn't want to examine too closely. Monday night, she asked if she could sleep on the couch in the living room instead of behind her partition. My area feels too cramped tonight, she explained. Would you mind? Of course not. But around 2 a.m., I woke up to find her standing in the doorway of my bedroom area. Alex? Are you awake? I am now. What's wrong? I can't sleep. Can I sleep next to you? Just for tonight. I promise I won't bother you. Against my better judgment, I scooted over to make room. She climbed into my bed wearing just a tank top and shorts, and I tried to ignore how my body reacted to having her so close. We lay there in the dark, both of us breathing carefully, neither of us sleeping. Alex, she whispered. Thank you. For being such a good friend. For making me feel safe. Always. She moved closer, close enough that I could feel her breath on my neck. Sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I'd made different choices. What kind of different choices? But she'd already fallen asleep, leaving me wide awake and confused for the rest of the night. Tuesday started normally enough, but I could feel tension in the air. Sophia was clingy, following me around the apartment, finding excuses to be in whatever room I was in. I think I'm going to take a shower and try to relax, I announced around 9 p.m., feeling like I needed some space to think. Good idea, she said. You seem stressed. I gathered my things and headed to the bathroom, looking forward to some alone time under the hot water to clear my head. Our shower was small but had good pressure, and I often did my best thinking in there. I'd been in there for maybe 10 minutes, completely lost in thought with my eyes closed under the spray, when I heard the bathroom door open. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew something big was about to happen? I heard the bathroom door open, but I figured Sophia just needed to grab something quickly like she had so many times before. I kept my eyes closed under the water spray, giving her privacy to get whatever she needed. But then I heard a different sound, the soft rustle of clothes being removed. My eyes snapped open. Sophia? Don't turn around, her voice came from behind me, soft and breathless. What are you doing? Something I should have done months ago. I heard the shower door open behind me, felt the cool air rush in, and then, she was there. In the shower. With me. I could feel the heat of her body behind mine, could smell her familiar scent mixed with the steam. Sophia, what? I can't pretend anymore, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the water. I can't keep acting like I don't feel what I feel. I stood frozen, my back still to her, my heart pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. Feel what? I managed to ask. Instead of answering, she slowly reached around me, her hand settling on my waist. The touch was electric, sending shockwaves through my entire body. This, she breathed, her lips close enough to my ear that I could feel her breath. I feel this constant pull toward you. This need to be close to you, to touch you, to. Her hands moved slightly, fingers tracing patterns on my wet skin. Sophia, you have Ryan. I broke up with Ryan, she said quietly. 3 days ago. I couldn't keep lying to him about what I was feeling. About who I was thinking about every night. Slowly, I turned around to face her. She was completely naked, water streaming down her body, her dark hair slicked back, her eyes intense and vulnerable. Who were you thinking about? I asked, though I already knew the answer. You, she whispered, stepping closer. Always you. 4 months, Alex. I've been going crazy trying to fight it. We were standing inches apart now, the hot water cascading over both of us. I could see every water droplet on her skin, could see the rapid rise and fall of her chest as she breathed. I thought you were straight, I said softly. So did I, she replied, reaching up to touch my face. Until I met you. Until I realized that everything I thought I wanted was just me trying to fit into what I thought I was supposed to want. Her thumb traced across my cheek, her touch gentle but sure. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm in love with you, Alex. I've been in love with you for months, and I can't pretend anymore that this is just friendship. Before I could respond, she leaned in and kissed me. Soft at first, tentative, giving me a chance to pull away. But instead, I melted into her, my hands finding her waist as months of tension finally found their release. The kiss deepened, became more urgent, more desperate. All the careful distance we'd maintained, all the polite boundaries, completely dissolved under the hot water. Have you experienced something similar? When we finally broke apart, both of us were breathless. The water continued to cascade over us as we stood there, foreheads pressed together, trying to process what had just happened. I can't believe I just did that, Sophia whispered, her eyes searching mine for any sign of regret. I can't believe it took you this long, I replied, and she laughed, a sound of pure relief and joy. You mean, you've been feeling this too? Sophia, I'd been in love with you since about 2 weeks after you moved in. But you had Ryan, and you seemed so straight, and I convinced myself I was just projecting my own feelings. She shook her head in amazement. All those times I caught you looking at me. All those times you found excuses to touch me. All those questions I asked about attraction and sexuality. You were trying to figure yourself out. I was trying to figure out if what I was feeling was normal. If other women felt this way about their female friends. If I was losing my mind. We stayed in the shower talking until the water started to run cold, sharing months of suppressed feelings and observations. How she'd been jealous every time I went on dates. How I'd noticed the way she looked at me when she thought I wasn't watching. How we'd both been driving ourselves crazy trying to maintain appropriate boundaries while fighting an increasingly strong attraction. The night you helped me with my bath, I said, I thought I was going to die from how much I wanted you. The morning you came out of your room in just a towel, she replied, I had to lock myself in the bathroom and take a cold shower. We laughed about all the ways we'd been torturing each other without realizing it. But here's the twist that still makes me smile. Remember how Sophia was always using my body wash, claiming she loved how it smelled? Turns out that wasn't about the scent at all. I wanted to smell like you, she admitted later that night as we lay tangled together in my bed. It was the closest I could get to being connected to you without crossing a line I thought I shouldn't cross. And Ryan? I asked. How was he handling the breakup? Better than I expected, actually. He said he'd been feeling the distance between us too, and that he deserves someone who's completely sure about him. He's already started dating someone new, a girl from his office who's apparently been interested in him for months. 6 months later, Sophia and I are still roommates, but now we share the bed instead of just the bathroom. We're planning to get a bigger place soon, somewhere with a shower built for two. The funniest part? Our friends aren't surprised at all. Apparently, the sexual tension between us was obvious to everyone except us. Sometimes the person you're meant to be with is literally living in your space, sharing your bathroom, and driving you crazy in the best possible way. You just have to be brave enough to step into the shower. Have you ever had undeniable chemistry with a roommate? Or realized someone's straight behavior was actually them questioning their sexuality? Share your most intense roommate story in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story made you think about someone special, hit subscribe for more real stories about unexpected love and self-discovery.